Okay, welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review Parts 5. This one I'm viewing, Loguetown arc. Well, mainly put the main portion of it anyways. You see, this arc is, well, if you count the episode 45, it's roughly 7 episodes. But they threw in the buggy arc in between there. But you can kind of say the Loguetown arc actually starts with episode 48. Yep. Now here's the thing. This arc is roughly 5 chapters. And here's something quite weird though. It's 6 episodes. This one I'm covering episodes 48 to 53. Now here's the interesting thing when it comes to this particular arc. You have basically the first 2 episodes are canon. The next 2 are filler. And the final 2 are canon. Yep. The first 2 episodes. Now basically you have the Straw Hats arriving at the island Loguetown. So, we have the various things. Luffy goes to visit the place. Wants to visit the place. We'll go Roger executed. Zoro basically is looking for a sword shop. Of course, Nami gets money for it. Nami, of course, stocks up on buying clothes because that's what women do. Sanji basically goes and buys some food for them because they need food. And Usopp just buys some stuff basically for his weapons. The first episode focuses on Luffy, where he goes around town, and of course this arc is an introduction to 3 very important characters. First of which is Smoker, who at this point in the series is a captain. Currently in the series, he's a Vice Admiral. Yep, he became Vice Admiral after a time skip. And it's also the first appearance of Tashigi, who is voiced by Monica Rail. My only guess is the reason Monica voiced this character along with Kuna, and this is my personal theory, because they look exactly alike. Is he pointed out by Zoro when he meets up with her later. I will get to more of that. Smoker, I think, is voiced by Chuck Wendig. Yeah, I believe it's the name of the actor. This arc is also the first appearance of Luffy's father, Monkey D. Dragon. Though we don't know, we know his name is Dragon. We don't know his full name until post Edoros Lobby. Yeah, it's not until that arc that they finally give his full name. But yeah, that's Luffy's father. And Luffy does not see the man's face until, I think it was just, if I remember, I think it was just either after Zoo Island arc or after Whole Cake. It was one of the more recent arcs of the series. I think it was after Zoo Island. Where they show a picture of him and Luffy's like, he looks nothing like me at all. Which, well, he kind of does, but not really. Probably because of the tattoo. Yeah, they don't mention anything about what he is. All the name is Dragon, and that he's there just to keep an eye on Luffy. Yep. This arc sees the return of Buggy and Alvida, which, if you read the manga, in the main story, Buggy's last appearance in the manga was Orangetown. Alvida was Romance Dawn, the opening arc of the series, which basically her debut was chapter 2, though she returned for the cover stories. Yep. And mostly put for these first couple episodes is just Luffy just looking around. He runs the Smoker, and he says, "Keep up with where they kill people. Where the Go Rider was killed. It's like, go that way. Thank you." And he's like, this guy looks familiar. And later he figures out that this guy has got a 30 million bounty on his head. So, and Tashigi is very clumsy, though I should point out that post time skip she's not as clumsy as she is pre-time skip. She actually gets a lot better with her sword, though she's still kind of weak. And we don't see her with her sword at first, so she carries on something in her pack. I don't think it's her sword. She carries on something in this thing, and she basically fends off a bunch of pirates who are just probably hitting on her because she's smoking hot. Yeah, Shigi is a beautiful woman, and the thing is, I think Smoker kind of knows that, but he doesn't have a thing for her at all. Yeah, their relationship is strictly professional. Yep, just superior and subordinate. That's it. There's no romantic attachment that Tashigi has to Smoker. Just loyalty. And Zoro breaks her glasses. Yep, breaks her glasses. Don't look up. She has a spare pair. Yeah, and the thing is, Zoro doesn't explain at first why he does it until later, When he sees her, it's like he breaks her glasses. Of course, she doesn't know this is Ronald Zoro. She does not know at all. So, she doesn't even see the sword on his hilt. Nope. She just bring it back to Marine headquarters and hasn't clearly earned some money to pay for glasses. Yeah. And it's pointed out that Zoro's kind of broke. He's only got like 100,000 berries. So eventually he gets away after beating up some Marines who just happen to spy him. And he goes to a sword shop. And like, he gave me the cheapest sword you can find with the 100,000 berries. Like, try over there, those barrels. And he's offered also look at his sword. He's like, no, it's not for sale. Of course, he keeps offering to buy. He's like, nope. And he pulls out a sword, which according to Shigi, who actually is an expert on swords. By the way, her book only appears in this episode. It doesn't appear after this I can think of. No, not that I can think of, no. So, basically explains that Zoro's white-handled sword is one of the 12 swords. Like they mentioned Wano for the first time in the series. Yes, though Wano itself is the current arc of the manga and anime, but this is the first mention of the name Wano. We don't get a bit more explanation of it until Thriller Bark, though it gets more expanded upon in Punk Hazard. Mostly anyways, they build it. Yeah, up until the current arc, Oda had been building up to the current arc for years, and now he's doing it right now. Though he's not building up to a next arc I can think of. No, not I can think of, no. So, eventually he pulls out another sword, which will really be a cursed sword, and he's like, what's better, the sword's blade or my luck? So he flips it up, and just by Zoro's luck, the butt of the sword hits his arm, and the shopkeeper's like, you can take that sword, and take this awesome, cool-looking sword too, and then just leave. And then of course they get lost. Of course he loses him, and eventually he meets up with Luffy, who did find the execution platform, but he got sent away by Smoker. Yeah, and he just takes a nap, and then he wakes up, and Buggy's around. He's like, "Where is Luffy?" Ito's like right in front of him. They're like, excuse me, like he points out like that way. He's like, "Thank you." I thought that was funny, and he's like, "Oh crap, that's him," and then he gets the execution platform. Now, we don't pick up with this until like episode 52. What happens next couple episodes? First of which we have, get this, Usopp versus Daddy the Father, a bounty hunter who's a former Marine. Why is he called Daddy the Father? I have no idea. Apparently the English translation of his name is Daddy the Parent. Yeah, it's kind of weird why he's called this. He also has an adorable little girl named Carol. Yep. And he's first seen just bringing some people to Smoker's office. 3 brothers, of course, one of them he killed. And of course, has paperwork, and that's that. As in the case of, and he also says, and Smoker says, "Say hi, Carol, for me." He said, "Sure. I'll tell her Uncle Smokey says hi." Yeah. And according to Smoker, Masterson, I might call him Daddy, he enlisted the same time as Smoker, so they've known each other for a long time. And he never knew the reason why he left. It's not explained in the episode the reason for that. And he just comes across some riffraff, some thugs, and just beats them up and just tells the other guy, "Go home. I think your dinner's ready." Yep. And Usopp, who went to a junk shop to buy some new goggles. By the way, the goggles he actually buys are the goggles he had just prior to the time skip. Yeah, this is a brand new set of goggles. Replaced the original goggles he had in the series. Though this is the second set of goggles he had. These set of goggles will actually be with him for quite some time. I think he finally trades them out. I think in post-Eros lobbies when he trades them out for a new pair. Yeah, so he keeps his pair for quite some time. Which basically is kind of like these pull-down ones like this. It goes over his eye, and actually there's a little thing in front of it, kind of like sunglasses, which that was so cool. But Carol took it, and of course Usopp just happened by sheer coincidence, just happened to run to Masterson, and he challenged him to a duel. And he accepts, and he misses, and looking out like okay, and of course Nami shows up and mentions his name is Usopp, and he's thinking. She say your name is Usopp, right? He says, yeah. do you happen to know somebody named Yasep? And Yusep says, yeah, that's my dad. He's like, and the master's like, I met your father some time ago, where they actually showed they actually had a duel. Apparently, Yasep had his name like marked on his forehead for some reason. Yeah, some parents says he has his name like on a bandana. Yeah, they keep changing basically where they put the name Yasep. I thought that was kind of weird. So they had a duel, and Maxson lost. Despite like both of them basically are wounded, and he allowed him to live. Of course, he sees that he has a lock on his neck. He takes it off. He's, oh, it's your daughter, and he says, he mentions about Usopp, and you should take care of your daughter, and that's probably what caused him to quit the Marines, because of his duel with Yasep. And after, he's, okay, prove how good good as your father is by shooting the weather vane. And like he uses his slingshot to shoot it, and it looks like he missed. But according to Masterson, he didn't miss. He went right through the crown, which proves he's just as good of a shot as his father. Which basically Carol gives him back the goggles that she took early on. And that's that. Now, the next episode that came right after that, episode 52, actually 51, was Sanji versus the beautiful chef. And her name is Carmen. Yep, and apparently it says, oh yeah, 10 years from 10 days ago, prior to this. Though apparently she's known about Sanji longer than that. Apparently she first spotted Sanji when he was a child. That's looked like in the flashback, and she, apparently the music has her where she's apparently like a mariachi band, and it claims the two guys with her are apprentices. Yeah, the judges calls them her cheerleaders. So they challenged to a contest. He declines at first, and then he spots some fish in the fish market. It's like, oh, these came from the east, like the South Blue. And he spots a big elephant tuna that he really wants to buy. He's like, nah, it's not for sale. It's a prize in the contest. So he enters, and he wins. Though when he gets to the final round, like they're about to announce the winner, but Carmen's like, I forfeit. You beat me. And it shows a flashback of her seeing Sanji when she was younger. And it's kind of implied here that Carmen might have had a thing for Sanji when she was younger. But it's never delved into. And she says, like, after she sort of defeated by Sanji, like, I'd like to challenge you again. Despite the fact she never appears again after this. Kind of the same thing with Masterson. He never appears. These two characters never appear in the series. Not even a filler episode, which I thought that was kind of weird. And here's the strange thing when it comes to Masterson. You see, Oda, the episode is partially adapted from an actual light novel. Yes, the episode is that, even though it's filler, it's adapted from a light novel called Loguetown that basically kind of expands upon what Oda originally wrote in the original story. I haven't read it yet, but that's what I heard the description of the book is. And then after that after those two standalone filler episodes, we finally get back to the present day stuff, where Luffy gets back to the platform, and he gets on top of it this time. The first time he's like halfway up before he's stopped by a smoker. This time he's able to get to the top, though he's stopped, and of course the police he tells him to calm down. And then all of a sudden he's whacking the frickin' head with an iron club. It's Alvida. And he's like, who are you? He's like, you don't remember me? I'm the woman who you hit. And it was like, you hit her? And she's like, you hit me right here in the belly. Yeah, that's indeed true. And Luffy's like, well, because of the fact she ate the smooth fruit, basically the whole smooth skin. It's like, okay. It's like, and of course, the consequence, aside from losing the ability to swim, I also lost my freckles. It's like, okay, that's why they didn't recognize you, because I had no freckles. And then Buggy shows up. And it's like, yeah. And Luffy, of course, doesn't recognize him at first. And then he does, like, oh yeah, Buggy. How can you forget him? Don't worry. Here's kind of the thing. When these two reunite and Impel Down, he's like, oh, hi, Buggy. Which I thought was so funny. Which, don't worry, I'm going to get to Impel Down. Yep. And then and Kabaji just pins him right there. Gonna be executed, and Mochi and Richie go over to the Going Merry to burn it. But they're stopped by the rain. And Bucky is about to execute like any last words. He says, "I'm going to be the king of the pirates," and it's later retconned that the captain of the Bartow pirates was actually here in that crowd. Yeah, that was be a retcon. So, Bucky is about to chop his head off when lightning strike the thing, and of course Luffy is perfectly fine. Bucky is like partially fried, and Smoker is informed about Luffy, Buggy, and Alvida being at the execution platform. He races over there and tells one unit to go to the Straw Hat ship and destroy it. They don't get there because the cannons were basically being wet because of the rain. So they all simply just get away, and then of course, Zoro stopped by Tashigi, who they have a duel with each other, and he actually wins, but actually spares his life. And she's like, "You couldn't cut me because I'm a woman." He's like, "No, because you have the face of a woman, you have the face of my late childhood friend who died years ago." Yeah, and they kind of argue back and forth about this, and don't worry, they do meet each other again, because after this, Tashigi does not return to Alabasta. And he runs off. And then Sanji and Luffy run into Smoker. By the way, Smoker is riding on a motorcycle powered by his smoke, which I thought was so funny. Oh, and before I continue with that, before I get to that, they actually show Buggy and Alvida trying to get away like Buggy, and it was Buggy Mobile, which looks so hilarious. And you see Alvida basically just sliding along, taking off her flip-flops, and sliding along until it's stopped by Smoker, and of course temporarily held captive. But don't worry, they're not held captive very long. They're freed by Dragon of all people. Yep. And of course, Luffy's about to be beaten by Smoker after their brief fight. And then all of a sudden, Dragon was like, "What are you doing here?" Yeah. Like, what are you doing here? He's like, "It's you." Yep. And he stops him. And apparently unleashes a green wind, which apparently frees the Buggy pirates. It also frees Luffy, and of course, Luffy gets away. Dragon overhears the fact that Luffy wants to be king of the pirates. He's like, "That's fine. I got no problem with that." And then him saying the same thing later. And of course, Smoker asks, "Why'd you do that for?" "Because I felt like it." And Dragon is never seen in the series again. I believe his next physical appearance I can think of was not until, I think it was the Reverie. Yeah, he disappeared. Actually, no, it wasn't Reverie. I think it was Dressrosa was his next physical appearance. He has occasionally popped up in the series since then, but not as prominently as this. And then, of course, Nami and Usopp get back to the ship. Of course, Usopp had to basically carry the big fish that Sanji won. By the way, when Sanji sees Alvida, he's like basically smitten with her like he does any woman. And he's also smitten with Tashigi, who he doesn't know her name yet, and that's later. And they later they try to get on the ship. Of course, Nami tries to set sail because it's basically the hurricane trying to nearly capsize the ship. Though, unknown if the fish actually survived because it's not mentioned here. Yeah, it's not mentioned if the fish actually was secured or not. And it's unknown if Nami managed to put her stuff inside the ship before it capsized. Well, the thing was, I'm sure she probably did because it's never actually shown here. And eventually, after a lot of running, everybody gets back on board the ship. And they sail off. Of course, Buggy pirates get out of there scot-free, no problem. And then Smoker's like, "Get the boat ready. We're setting sail." And then once more, it's like, what about headquarters? Your orders. And he's like, "To hell with my orders." And he rides off. And then we have on the Straw Hat ship, the Straw Hat's basically revealing all their promises. Like first we have Sanji saying, I'm going to find the East Blue. Nami, draw a map of the world. Luffy, king of the pirates. Zoro, the world's best swordsman. Well, later changed to the world's greatest swordsman. And Usopp, brave warrior of the sea. And they smash the barrel. And that's the end of the episode. All in all, really good episode. And they say they're going to go to the Grand Line. But they're not going to go to the Grand Line yet because they're going to take a detour to Warship Island. Yep. A detour that lasts for 8 episodes. Yep. So, all in all, great episode, great arc, and I can't wait to talk about Warship Island, how weird this arc is. Yeah, and the main villain is a Marine Commodore. Yep, a Marine Commodore. And I can't wait to talk about him. Yep. Oh, so that's really it for this particular view. In the case next view, I think I might be able to get in tonight. It's possible, it just depends, okay? But until the next video, bye.